Hi again then folks, and welcome to, of course, the 8th build already. We're really burning through all 10 this week in my special projects car pack number 1, this time for a car which some of you might not be familiar with, the Viper TA, or Time Attack, as it stands for. For those who don't know, it's basically like an end of run, just throw everything at it kind of Viper, which isn't that crazy in terms of overhauling the car. So the power's the same, the weight is a little bit lower, and this is essentially like the 911 GT3 RS, or more accurately, the Jaguar XK-RS of Vipers. So it's got reworked aero, reworked suspension, a little bit less weight, and much more of a track day focus, rather than just a straight line machine. And you can kind of see that from the visuals as well. So it's a super affordable build to do. Grab yourself a Viper, or if you've already got one, you could use that. Come down into the tuning shop, and you'll see in a second this really is a cheap build to do. So I've upgraded to the sports pads. You do want your stage 1 weight reduction to be able to bring the weight down to the real car. It comes with sports hards as standard. I wanted to give it a little bit of a leg up and put it on softs. That could be down to you though. As far as the club sports section, you want your sports brakes. The power restrictor I haven't even bothered with because you don't need it on this one. It has the standard 640 brake, just like the normal car. You do want the ballast though. That is important. We'll come back to that in a second. For semi-racing stuff, I have not even fitted the diff. Now, that might be something that you do want to do. So if you do actually want to drastically change the car, then go for the diff. I didn't want to change its personality too much though, so I didn't do that there. As far as the racing stuff, well, apart from the fully customized suspension, you really don't need anything else. And as far as the extreme stuff, you don't need anything else. So it is, as I said, a dirt cheap build to do. It's very much like the, as I said, XK-RS, or I guess you could even say like the BMW CSL kind of build that you do on an M3 or an M4. Now, I'll flash up on screen, as always, the creator of the design. You do not need the wide body on this one, so that again saves you some cash. It wouldn't make sense for it to have the wide body because the real thing doesn't. They've gone for a nice visual combination. They've got the stickers, they've got the chin splitter, they've got the bigger wing. Looks about as close to the real thing as we can get in the game. So that's the tags, that's the name. Search them up and grab that one. Then to jump back into the garage, of course, this is where everything comes together. And I could see some people saying, oh, this build, it's a little too simple. It's nowhere near as radical as something like, the Huayra LM or something like that. And that's fair. This is very much a very subtle build for Viper fans who just want to replicate a car that we don't have in the game. So sports softs are, of course, fitted. For the suspension, I've set the ride height on 110mm, which isn't too far off what the real car would have. The anti-roll on 5, 33 for the compression, 43 for the expansion, 2.75 for frequency, just a little bit of camber, 0.5 front and rear, and likewise just a little bit of toe, 0.5 in on the back, 0.5 out on the front. As I said, I haven't touched the diff, no NOS. There's not really any point in upgrading the transmission because the real car doesn't do that, so that would be irrelevant. Perhaps strangely, it's got 123 kilos of ballast. You're probably asking why. The reason why is because to get the real car's accurate weight of 1,538 kilos, you need to give it stage 1 weight reduction and then add the ballast to bring it up to the accurate weight. So if you really want to be a stickler for the real kind of specs, that's what you need to do. The ECU is standard, of course. Downforce, I actually have gone with the highest on, because again, that's kind of the point of the aero package on the Time Attack version. And then for the rest, as you can see, sports brakes, sports pads, and the stage 1 weight. So it really is that simple. Probably the cheapest build, or maybe one of 2 cheapest builds out of all 10, and one of the quickest as well to build. So with all of that in mind, let's take it out to Willow Springs and see what it can do. Now, of course, as you'd expect, with the relatively minimal changes that we've made, you shouldn't go into this assuming it's going to be like some 1,000-point level, all-conquering monster. It's a very subtle build, a very subtle tune. It just makes the Viper that much sharper, that little bit more aggressive around the track, and that's exactly the point of the real TA Viper. That end of run, last swan song of it, not quite as extreme as an ACR, but a little bit more exclusive. So if you do decide to use it, I hope you enjoy it, especially for Viper fans, and I know there are plenty of you. If you are interested in more Viper tunes, you should check out the previous build that I did in the series within the past couple of days for the ACR replica, if you do want something a bit more out there. And of course, stick around for more of these builds. For now though, that is it for this special project. Check out the other ones and I'll see you next time. But for now, as always, Thanks for watching.